Eso, agradecer vuestra presencia, lo primero. Lo segundo, esperamos que sea muy útil, que surjan muchas preguntas. De aquí lo que tiene que surgir también es una base para pensar en nuestros negocios a nivel internacional. Y luego agradecer también a todas las personas pues, que están por aquí, tanto Natalia como Olivia, que vienen de la parte de Google, y sobre todo María y Lucía de Naturavise, que han tenido a bien pues, compartir con todos nosotros el éxito de su proyecto a nivel internacional. Y como veréis, nos van a contar cosas súper interesantes, ¿vale? También un saludo a Diego, que está en México, el hombre, y ha hecho el esfuerzo de levantarse a las 3 de la mañana, hora mexicana, para estar hoy aquí con nosotros. Así que nada, no me entretengo mucho más, dejo ya paso a Olivia.
Hola, buenos días. Hola, buenos días, soy Olivia. It's the only thing I can say in Spanish for now, so I'm really sorry. I will do this part of the presentation in English. So I'm an international growth consultant at Google, and I work a lot with Geotelecom. They are part of a few selected agency of the International Growth Agency program. Why we are here today is to show you why we think that Latin America can be a great opportunity for you in terms of growth. So what we're going to look is, like, as you can all know, the economic situation at the moment is quite hard. E-commerce growth, sales is going kind of down, like slowing down, and mainly in kind of the mature market like China, Europe, US, and Japan. But here, what you can see is Latin America is the second region with the highest potential of growth in e-commerce. That's why we think that for you, it could be an opportunity to go further than Europe in your expansion. Let's now look at what this would mean for you. What we are expecting in terms of digital buyers by 2025 is more than 360 million people. You also have a potential of online sales opportunity of $250 billion. So it's massive for you. And if we compare this to Spain, this means that it's 10 times the amount of e-commerce users in Spain, and it's 4.5 times the retail e-commerce sales if we compare it to Spain. And this is not it. Like, if you look at the slides, you can see that even if the e-commerce growth is going to slow down in Latin America, we are still having a two-digit numbers. So we were expecting to have 11.5% growth in e-commerce in 2026, where Spain is going to slow down to like a 3.7%. So now deep diving more into Latin America in terms of numbers. You all know how big Latin America is. It's 8% of the overall population. And what is also amazing is like 90% of this 8% speak Spanish. So when you are a Spanish company going over there, like, at least you don't have the language barrier, which is an amazing thing. Then the GDP is completely great for you to go abroad. But what I want to focus a bit more is the smartphone adoption. I don't know if you are aware, but this region is becoming the third largest base of smartphone adoption globally. It's just behind China and India. And in terms of also like infrastructure and like technology, like we can see, next slide, that the internet penetration is very good. And something that I was also quite surprised is that by 2025, we are expecting that the 4G coverage is going to reach a 71%. This means that is going to overtake China. So it's going to be huge in terms of accessibility for you to reach your audience. One thing that we think that is a key change that has happened, like the pandemic was a very hard time for everyone. But if there is one kind of, two things that really changed in Latin America, like due to the pandemic, is the e-commerce. Like, this has kind of pushed Latin American people to move from going to buy offline to the online shopping. And we've seen that when the pandemic hit, plus 63.3% moved to e-commerce, so adopted e-commerce. And this is like in the US, it's like was double, and in China it's 4 times like what was in China during the same amount of time. So really like a big change with the pandemic in the e-commerce adoption. The last thing is the bank account. We all know that like it's kind of a low adoption, but again, the pandemic has like make this evolve. Like we are still at 50%, which is quite low in terms of bank account adoption, but now like it's really evolving and getting better. So this is something to have in mind when you create your website for Latin America, making sure that you have all the bank or the payment option available, but it's also like a new growth for you to look into, as only 50% are at the moment, and it's growing. And as I said, like Southern Asia is the biggest growing for e-commerce, but now we can see that 3 Latin American markets have just joined the top 10 fastest growing e-commerce market. So there is a huge opportunity for you to look into this to expand your business. The last just tips for you to look into in terms of like tips to enter LATAM would be, first, customer service is going to be a key factor for you to nail down. So thanks to the program, Geotelecom have access of a lot of insight that will help you to understand what is best for each of the country in Latin America. So feel free to reach to Geotelecom to get any of this information. And then the second point is in terms of logistics. Like free shipping is the key thing. And even if you are maybe used to think about returns as it's key in Europe, like this is going to be less important for you if you go to Latin America, because the key differentiator for your Latin American customers is going to be making sure that you are giving free shipping. So this is for me like a very quick overview of Latin America market. I hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to pass it on to Diego, who is like the LATAM country manager for Geotelecom, and he's going to deep dive into Mexico. Thanks a lot.